We serve thousands of customers in every industry all around the world. We provide solutions for your front office, back office, and even your out of office. So no matter where you go, chances are Oracle is already there. When you're on your way to your destination, our customers help make sure your trip is smooth. And when you're checking into your hotel, our customers make sure your stay is extraordinary with an elevated guest experience. When you're out enjoying your summer vacation, our customers make your shopping frictionless and personalized. And when you're sharing one-of-a-kind moments, our customers are helping you make quick and easy purchases that fuel lasting memories every step of the way.
Please welcome to the stage, Mike Sicilia.
Hi there. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for spending part of your day here with the industries team at Oracle. We have quite a bit to share with you today. So, as many of you know, Oracle supports global industries and leaders like you across the world in sectors like financial services, communications, construction, energy and water, retail, hospitality, restaurants, healthcare, life sciences, and many more. So whether you're a CEO leading a complete business transformation, a leader optimizing your individual line of business, or a technology executive innovating your customer experience with AI, you're operating within an industry. And regardless of industry, we do hear some common challenges. The first is the need to achieve more in a world that's undergoing rapid change, keeping pace with what's happening, keeping pace with innovation, keeping pace with regulations. The need to spend less while doing number one. And of course, in recent years, a hyper-focus on cybersecurity, particularly in certain verticals like financial services, healthcare, life sciences. So at Oracle, we're focused on delivering specific solutions tailored to your industry to turn all of these challenges into growth opportunities. We've long been serving industries with purpose-built, mission-critical operating technologies. We like to say sometimes that this is a bit of our secret sauce. We are engaged with you as business leaders and also engaged with your IT leaders at the same time. In recent years, we've made these mission-critical operating applications available as cloud services running on OCI and running on the Autonomous Database. And I'm sure you're familiar with the Oracle industry applications that you are consuming as a business user as part of your industry. However, you may not be aware of the Oracle technology that you're utilizing as a consumer of other industries. So for example, I would make a pretty good bet that everybody has a hotel key in their pocket here today. I'll also make a pretty good bet that there's some Oracle technology behind the scenes making sure that that key opens your room and not somebody else's room, and it's been issued to you, and if you lose it, we can rekey it and rebadge it. One example. You probably ate in a restaurant, you may have even visited a bar here in Las Vegas, and at some point you had to pay for the food, you had to pay for the drinks. Pretty good chance up and down the Vegas Strip that you've encountered Oracle technology to place the order, to pay for the order, and certainly the great staff that they have here in all the facilities in Las Vegas use that technology to make sure that the kitchen gets your order on time and to you. Every month, we all get an energy bill. We all get a telecommunications bill. There's a very good chance that behind the scenes, either one of those bills or both of those bills, depending on who your provider is generated using the Oracle billing technology. Order orchestration, new services are generated using our orchestration service, and so on. So you get the point. There's an ecosystem of operating technologies out there. And over many years of thinking about industries and a partnership with all of you, it's really led us to think differently about how cloud becomes the ultimate platform to unlock more value more quickly and, more importantly, continuously. So we've centered our industry thinking around 3 key themes. The first is industries don't exist in a vacuum. They're part of a complex ecosystem. The second is generative AI is a fantastic breakthrough. It's a fantastic platform for us to build upon, and we have products that are generally available built in this way today to build upon and help automate lots of tasks by industry. But I also want to talk about applied AI. I also want to talk about contextual AI and AI at the edge, which is where your consumers are consuming some of this technology that we're providing. And third, we believe that the best business outcomes come from industry suites, not just individual pillars. So let's talk about industry ecosystems and cross-industry synergies. So each industry that you're operating in has its own unique attributes. But I'm sure that you work together in tandem to solve challenges and provide experiences with other industries every single day. So no matter what industry you're in, there's a dependency on another industry. If you're in the healthcare industry, you need our construction partners and customers to build new hospitals. If you're in the construction industry, you need banks for supply chain financing and construction loans. If you're in the hospitality industry, you need the communications vertical to provide excellent connectivity for your guests, and so on. So while each industries do share core business problems, particularly, core business functions, particularly back office functions, there's context that informs even these business functions. So for example, all industries have financials management, but the financials management for an agriculture company looks very different than the financials management for an airline. All have a chart of accounts, all have basic accounting and those things. But the things that are worried about, in construction, for example, retainage is one of the single biggest things that our customers worry about. Having a system like Fusion that's tailored to deal with that industry vertical is extremely important because you can avoid customizing the system. A police department has human resources needs that are different from the university down the street. And an interesting example of this with AI is that we recently released a product for our energy and water vertical to help customer service agents better serve their customers. So at the time that an inbound call comes in, an inbound email, whatever kind of contextual query comes in, the agent is presented with a very quick summary of everything that's happened in that customer interaction in the past, and has a very easy to digest dashboard to help have a better and more intimate relationship in that particular call. Now, we've all had the experience of being put on hold when you call somewhere because they have to go pick through the records and figure out what happened, taking all of that away and making it automatable. The same core technology with very different context, very different edge inferencing, and very different training of fine-tuning of the model is also now generally available for our healthcare customers. So that same core technology that summarizes a customer engagement for an energy or a water organization is also being used to summarize patient discharge processes. So if you've ever been to the ER, the unfortunate problem of getting sick and going to the ER, one of the more frustrating things is that once they clear you to go, so you can go home, sometimes take more time to get the paperwork to actually be able to leave than it does, than the duration of the time that you were there before that. Nobody wants to do that. Healthcare providers don't want to do that. Patients don't want to wait. All that's completely automated. So that spirit of co-innovation, how one industry can help another, has become really something that I think will continue to increase, and you'll continue to see lots of development at the edge by industry. So why is it all important? Well, quite simply, this allows you to serve your customers better. And no matter the vertical industry, I've yet to hear a business leader say, we wouldn't like to serve our customers better. We wouldn't like to have a better relationship with our customer. Even if it's great, we want to make it even greater. So that's why we think AI is so important at the edge. And we're going to show you some demos of some of these things here in just a bit. So industries then, your industry can benefit from an adjacent vertical or something that's completely unrelated. Energy and water, doctor's offices, emergency rooms. What do they have in common? Not a whole lot contextually, But at the platform service level, all of them can consume that platform service to serve their vertical needs and consume it as a service, not consume it as a toolkit, not consume it as something that needs to be stitched together. That allows us to think about best-in-class applied AI across all of our theaters, all of our operating vertical theaters. And that innovation not only comes from the Oracle engineers, but it comes from the many decades of collaboration with all of you, and for that, we remain very grateful. So let's take a look back at the video that opened. If you look back at the start of the keynote, you see a couple on their vacation, they're traveling, they're shopping in retail establishments, they're eating, they're having a great time in some iconic locations, resting, recharging after being out and about. But they're at no time viewing their vacation through the lens of a single industry. They're viewing it as an experience where those industries are part of an ecosystem. But they do have, as you saw in the video, very discrete digital interactions with each industry, ride sharing, hospitality, and so on. But the experience is actually very similar because behind the scenes, the companies are leveraging applied AI, they're leveraging platform services to make that experience very consistent. So I thought it's great to speak about it here, but it's even better to have some customers who have actually done it already to join me here to speak about how they've transformed their customer experience using some of that very same technology that we saw in the video. So let's start it off on the right foot, or the left foot, if you like, with Foot Locker.
Have a look around the room. You'll probably see a few people wearing sneakers they bought at Foot Locker. It's the world's largest brick-and-mortar chain of sneaker stores, with 2,700 owned and licensed locations in North America, Europe, Asia, and the Pacific. And after 50 years in the business, Foot Locker's got the right sneaker for you. Whether you're an athlete, a collector, or just someone who likes a comfy stride with a side of style. Please welcome to the stage, Adrian Butler.
Great to see you. Thank you, Adrian. I like your sneakers.
Well, I look like you're rocking that campus wear there. I like that myself.
I'm going to give you one guess as to where I got these sneakers. Actually.
I think you got them from Foot Locker.
And I have an experience, and I did. I got them these last week. I'm a past customer as well. But I will tell you that your customer engagement is unbelievable, because I now know that these come in 11 colors. And I feel like I've gotten a reach out to color coordinate, and I'm not much of a stylish kind of person, but I've gotten so many reach outs to think about different color coordination. I picked the ones that match my hair to start, but going forward, I think I'm gonna look into some of the other colors. So, Adrian, thanks so much for being here. Last year, Foot Locker rolled out its Lace Up plan, which was a comprehensive and strategic business plan to transform into a true omni-channel brand. Can you talk about what that means from a CTO's perspective, from a chief technology officer's perspective? How has the technology footprint, and how have you aligned it to meet that business strategy?
Well, first, let me start by saying thanks for having me. And so within that strategy, there's 4 key pillars to it. One of them is around expanding sneaker culture. Foot Locker's been doing this, one of the first and only multinational brands that actually has locations around the world. Second was all around empowering our associates in our stores to actually be able to create the experience in everyday life for our customers, to make sure that the kind of your experience that you had when you bought those sneakers was at a level that actually is consistent across the world. Third is all around kind of hyper-focusing in on our customer. And so certainly Foot Locker historically has been very, very product-focused. But hey, we're dialing in and learning as much as we can about our customer to enhance that experience. And then the last is all around being the best-in-class omni. So if you think about omni-channel and the various channels we sell, we want to elevate that experience. I'd say there are a couple common threads that come through within that strategy. One is all around people and talent, and making sure that we're providing both the tools necessary for what we call our stripers, which are our team members in our stores. They can actually wow our customers every single time, or our colleagues who are in our distribution channels, so they can do that. And the second one is technology. And so we're going through a massive technology transformation within the organization today. And as you think about what retailers do, we do 3 things. We actually buy stuff, so we actually go out into the marketplace and we procure things from our partners. We move stuff. We actually have a very complex supply chain. and then we sell things either through our physical assets or physical stores or through digital channels. And so if you think about that, technology is really important to enable each of those components from our strategy perspective.
Yeah, what are maybe you could talk a little bit more about the role of the tech in this omnichannel and this customer-facing transformation, which has been, obviously quite apparent as a customer myself. What specifically happens behind the scenes, if you will, from that? What's the role of the technology in making that happen?
Yeah, so a big part, and actually I'm assuming one of the reasons I was invited here is actually we chose Oracle to be one of our key partners. Particularly in the buying and merchandising space, as well as we're deploying Oracle Fusion for our finance and then human capital management as well. And so if you think about one of the most important components of actually your selection for the shoe that you chose here, the campus style, is all around making sure we can understand the demands in the marketplace around kind of what are the things that are on trend, what's evolving from a product selection perspective. Then we actually go buy that product. But then from there, we have to both be able to allocate the product to the right doors. We have to be able to price that product, promote that product, have inventory visibility around that product so we can understand kind of what exists in a distribution channel versus what's in a store, right? And so if you think about every step of that journey from when there's an ideation from our partners who are building a product or building a new sneaker or new apparel, there's technology that's behind the scene that then brings that to life for our colleagues and actually allows them to understand kind of, this is how much I should buy, this is what I should price that at, this is basically what the margins should be against that, and then all the way through until it gets into a store and can ultimately into your hands.
And so when you launched the Lace Up plan, I'm just curious as to what the driving force behind it was. Was it something happening in the macro retail industry? Was it a Foot Locker only initiative? And, what was really the driving force to go through such a big transformation? Yeah, so if you think about, and all of us are probably going through some transformation of some sort in our businesses, right? And actually, it's certainly on vogue. It's a great word that a lot of us are using. But part of that is, if you think about Foot Locker, a little bit later this month, actually next week I'll be in Miami, and we're celebrating our 50th anniversary, and we have our what we call our team week. And actually it starts with North America, then we'll go to EMEA and to Asia Pacific. And 50 years being in business, there's a lot of lineage and history that comes with that. But also from a capability perspective, ensuring that you keep pace with actually the changing demands of a customer is really, really important. So if you think about where we find ourselves as Foot Locker, kind of obviously the competitive pressures will not change. They actually get more pronounced. As I describe it, hey, our competitors are just as smart as we are. We just got to outwork them, outpace them, and outdeliver them, right? So that's one. Second part of that is, as we look at kind of where we are, we believe, as we describe it in-house, we believe we're the OG of sneakers culture. We believe we created that thing along with our partners, certainly. And so for us, we actually want to return to prominence. Foot Locker has great brand identification. If you were to bring, for each of your own experience, you probably say, oh, I remember going to a Foot Locker. I remember my first experience in a Foot Locker. I remember buying that sneaker and how it made me feel. Ultimately, for us, we certainly want to continue to elevate that in a way, and certainly we're using technology to push tech to the edge with our stripers and our team members in our distribution channels and stores so they can create that experience. They are based, from our vantage point, actually our secret weapon, our secret sauce is actually in our team. And then we empower them with data and facts and inventory insights and those types of things. We think that positions us really, really well within the competitive environment. Yeah, that's good. You spoke about the edge and customer transformation, and obviously you've done a tremendous job. You've been a great customer and partner. And now that you have the foundation in place, maybe just a word or two on where do you see AI playing in the future at the customer edge?
Great question, and there's probably a few places I go where I do talks, either inside of Foot Locker with our boards, or with my colleagues inside the building, or when I'm out having an opportunity to speak to groups like this where AI doesn't come up. And if you think about a retail setting, there's certainly those things that are kind of easier where you think about personalization. When you go to our site and how we actually understand kind of your behaviors, the things you care about, and how do we then facilitate putting in front of you the things that actually are most impactful to you. Certainly those are lanes that we're pursuing from an AI perspective. When we think about marketing and using MarTech and actually making sure we're using as much of our dollars for working media versus the production side of it, that's a wonderful place where we're leading in with generative AI, and we think there's lots of opportunity technologies. And then finally, for touch points with customers, when you think about customer care and how we actually interact with them when they may have a problem that we want to resolve, where we can kind of get more instantaneous or more real-time interactions with them, are just 3 quick examples of places where we believe generative AI has some great efficacy. If you think about, obviously, the things on the pure tech side around kind of things like Copilot for efficiency gains, or how do you think about Copilot for helping our developers to develop code, or other places. And then certainly we've challenged Oracle and some of our other partners to think about how are you thinking about a generative AI that we can take advantage of as your customer that actually illuminates and brings to life capabilities within Foot Locker.
Well, that was really a terrific insight. I can't thank you enough for your partnership, and it's really been humbling to see the transformation that you were able to put together with us as a technology partner, and we look forward to 50 more years of great transformation as well. Congratulations
Perfect.
on the anniversary. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Shifting gears from lacing up and going, now to checking in and staying. We're going to take a look at another customer experience transformation, this time through the hospitality lens with Marriott International.
Many of us have enjoyed a comfortable night away in a Marriott hotel, a Sheraton, or at a Ritz-Carlton. Founded by Jay Willard and Alice Marriott in 1927, the company remains committed to helping people expand their horizons, offering approximately 9,000 properties around the world and helping more than 700,000 employees explore their careers. Please welcome to the stage, Naveen Manga.
How are you? Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, we were comparing notes backstage among the panelists about who had the highest Marriott Bonvoy status. I actually thought I was going to win, but I actually am in last place, and I'm at the platinum level. And but the other panelists had me beat by quite a bit. I heard medals that I didn't even know existed in terms of some of the levels that they have. So anyway, well, thanks for being here, and thanks for the partnership. We've been close partners, and again, seen what you've gone through. And I'll say that the word transformation gets thrown around a lot, but I think based on the scale and scope of what you've done, it's the right word. I mean, it's unprecedented and it's ongoing. And maybe you could just help us understand from the CTO perspective, what's been the driver behind this massive digital transformation?
Well, great question. First off, thank you and for having me here, and congratulations on another great conference. What a great conference, people.
Thank you.
So, Mike, I would like to answer this question by anchoring my response with our purpose. At Marriott, our purpose is to connect people with the power of travel. And we see 3 paths to win. 1, we want to build the best brands and experiences in the world, and we have 30 plus amazing brands today. 2, we want to build the most loyal and engaged customer base, and we have over 200 million Bonvoy members today and 700,000 associates who serve those guests. And if you're not a Bonvoy member, please see me after this show. And lastly, we want to be in more places. So we have over 9,000 hotels across 150 geographies and countries out there that we're serving at. So our hospitality industry has always been about a people serving people business, and that will never change. But technology has progressed in our industry from being an enabler in the past to really a driver and core to the business today. So in hospitality, for several years, we've been building software and services and systems with this philosophy of built to last. So if you look at many hospitality industries today, our central REST systems still run on mainframes. So while this longevity is impressive, what got us here is not going to get us there. So we need a new mindset to change from built to last towards built to change. So as the business shape shifts, our technology shifts. So to realize this vision, 3 years ago, we've been on this amazing multi-year digital and technology transformation. The goal of the transformation is to replace our central REST system, our property management system, and our loyalty platform. But we're not stopping there. We're also building a patent-pending cloud-native innovation platform. And if you let me geek out for a minute, I love the patent-pending part of it is because this architecture is 3 tiers. At the bottom is our platform foundation, which think about as a web scale infrastructure capability built on a hybrid cloud that has observability, pipelines, and instrumentation built into it. The next layer is our platform core. This is our neural engine. This is where we're going to build the future hospitality innovations with a faster speed to market. And the top layer is our experience layer. This is where the magic happens. So we're going to take this layer and build experiences that are targeted, distinguished, and personalized for our customers. The beauty of this architecture is its simplicity. But the power, though, is in the composability of travel experiences that we deliver to our customers. So that's the vision of our technology transformation.
Well, I mean, as I said, transformation is the right word because it's certainly massive. So you're at the helm, you're driving this. Maybe you could talk a little bit more about the goals and how that you're now, in the midst of the transformation. How are you measuring success?
Yeah, great question again. So in our industry, we serve 3 customer personas. So we have our guests, we have our associates who serve the guests, and we have our owners who invest with us. So let's start with the guests. So we're completely reimagining the guest experience. So I always wondered when a guest comes to our website, we always ask them the question, where would you like to go? Well, what if you don't know where you want to go? So we're really changing the paradigm of this geography-based search and introducing a natural language conversational search. So after the guest searches for whatever they're looking for, maybe I want to go to a beach resort with a Michelin-starred restaurant for under $500 a night. So we're going to return the results, and we're going to package all those results into an itinerary so the guest can add those capabilities into a cart, essentially a retail-like experience, and then check out. And when this guest arrives at the hotel, we want to reimagine the arrival experience, give them complimentary upgrades when available, for you especially, Mike, and also real-time earn. So loyalty points deposited at the time of checkout. So lots of capabilities for guests. Next up is our associates. Our associates are the heart of the house. And for them to deliver guest experiences, they need new, modern, intuitive tools. So we're reimagining the lobby, where now you're going to walk into a Marriott hotel, and you're going to be greeted with a front desk associate who untethers from behind the front desk, meets you in the lobby, checks you in, sends you a mobile key, no more plastic key, as you referenced in your opening remarks, and essentially, send you to the room. So really reimagining the overlay technology and not having them swivel through multiple systems of record and having those use cases available in one single pane. Yeah. So that's for our associates. Wow. Yeah, and for our owners, it's all about capturing top-line revenue. So we're not only the world's largest hospitality company, but we also have the world's largest golf, spa, and restaurants all under one roof. We have 50 Michelin-star restaurants across 9,000 hotels. So we want to take and merchandise room products and non-room products, which we're not able to do today. And a non-room product, an example could be if you want an early checkout, or you want to do a late checkout, early check-in or late checkout. Yeah. We want to be able to do those things and drive revenue for the owners. So that's the vision and the value for the 3 customer personas.
So as you're saying this, I'm thinking that so much of this is applicable to other industries. In healthcare, guests or patients, associates are medical providers, and people own lots of almost franchise-like operations in large healthcare systems. There's so much here about what your transformation that I think really applies to other industries. So with everything you just mentioned, what's your philosophy or approach? I mean, how do you bring all of this to life and get everybody that you talked about as a stakeholder? How do you get that energized?
Yeah, totally. So while we talked about the digital and technology transformation, in my mind, our transformation is also 2 more things. It's a ways of working transformation, and more importantly, it's a cultural transformation. So at Marriott in global technology, our mission is to create services and products that our customers love, whether that customer is our guest, our associate, or owner and franchisee. So we start by instilling a culture of innovation first, then seed it with insanely talented people that are mission-driven, bounded by a purpose, empower them, and let the magic happen. So we're building an extraordinary team, Mike, that wakes up every single day thinking and obsessing about how technology can really transform Marriott and deliver greater value and unlock the business value for our customers. And we believe a future technology is definitely built in travel. We're looking at really altering the landscape of this industry by doing that.
That's fantastic. And as you said, I've been to your headquarters and experienced some of those meetings, and it really is a world-class team who has a technology-first, transformation-first mindset. So, speaking of tech, obviously, so much dialogue here about AI in the world, and particularly about its practical value. Can you tell us about your AI approach and where you see it applying to your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Classic AI and ML have been in the works at Marriott for a very long time. But our journey with generative AI really started in the summer of 23, where we held a 48-hour code fest, essentially a hackathon, for our associates to come together and think about using Gen AI and produce 40,000 lines of code across various use cases. Since then, we really formalized that practice and assembled a cross-functional leader group across Marriott and created what we call a Gen AI studio. So the mission of our studio is to empower associates, delight guests, and drive business value with reliable and responsible AI application. So we collected a bunch of use cases across the company, over hundreds of use cases, and we categorized them across 4 major themes. The first one is analyze. So we sit on petabytes of data at Marriott, and we want to really mine the insights from the data that we collect in order to do effective, faster decision making. So that's the first theme. The second theme is create. So content is still king. So we operate about 16,000 websites in 25 different languages worldwide. And today, a lot of the content is stitched manually. So we're taking use cases that we can automate the use of AI, Gen AI, specifically create the content, personalize the content at various touch points, and really unleash that in the create segment. The third is discover. And I talked a little bit about natural language search and changing the search paradigm. Use cases around search and discoverability are in this third theme. And the last one is connect. So we're looking at use cases that will take our knowledge worker and get them closer to the data in such a way that we can have actionable insights again. So 4 larger themes, but we're not stopping there. So as we're experimenting with AI, here's the biggest learning that we've got. The learning is we were coupling each use case against a model and against a technology. And what we didn't want to do is proliferate that point-to-point model to use case interaction. So we're now investing in a horizontal platform that will have model library, prompt libraries, a model hub, maybe experiment with vector databases, also put in small language models because we have a lot of content, and then really deliver that cohesive experience. So I would love for you guys to check out at your leisure our implementation of AI at scale in our Homes and Villas by Marriott. So check it out and please give us your feedback.
I think you're absolutely right on small language models. I mean, there's so much applicability. And while large language models have done a tremendous job at consuming all the data that's publicly available on the internet, a lot of data that you have, that healthcare systems have, that utilities have, is not public data.
That's
so
right.
Small language models will be, I think, an industry norm as we go forward. David, I want to thank you for your leadership, your partnership, and for really helping us all learn so many lessons that we can apply across the industry ecosystem.
Thank you.
Great to have you. Thanks so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. While Marriott's transformation certainly is a thrill ride for Naveen and for the whole team at Marriott, our next company and next customer provides actual thrill rides and more for their guests. So let's hear more about it from Six Flags.
Six Flags stands for Happy Kids and Unlimited Family Fun. North America's largest amusement resort operator, Six Flags, has it all. From white-knuckle roller coasters and splashy water parks to comfy resort rooms, delicious restaurants, and beloved Looney Tunes characters. There's a good chance you have a Six Flags somewhere near you. The company operates 27 amusement parks, 15 water parks, and 9 resort properties across the US, Mexico, and Canada. Please welcome to the stage Tai Tash Tepe.
Hi. Thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. You know, in the spirit of the ecosystem, as I said, we like to be customers of our customers as well. So sneakers, hotels. I have to tell you, I'm a little squeamish on some of these things, and I'm trying to figure out how best to be your customer. But then I saw the lazy river, and I thought maybe I'm all set. I wasn't.
That's your kind
I wasn't
of,
aware.
your
Yeah,
kind of ride.
I think I'll be just fine.
We got to get you a season pass so you can experience all of our parks.
All right. Well, I think that sounds great. I'll certainly take the family. So Six Flags Entertainment is really a new company through the recent merger of Six Flags and Cedar Fair, where you had served as the Chief Technology Officer. You're 3 months into the new company. What are some of the top challenges you're facing, and also the top opportunities that excite you in integrating these two organizations?
Yeah, first, thank you for having me, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here, and congratulations to you and your Oracle team. Great conference. We learned a lot in the last couple of days. We are really at an exciting time for us, just 2+ months into our journey. As I think about our challenges, I see them as also our opportunities, if you will. You know, I look at them as 3 different categories. One, our team members. Obviously, we really need to focus on our team members, bringing the teams together, making sure they have the right roles moving forward. The technology stack obviously is a major focus area, especially for me. I feel like I have a Noah's Ark. I've got at least 2 of each. So we've got to figure out how to consolidate and rationalize the portfolio. And then the most important thing perhaps is the experiences we provide to our guests and our associates. So both companies historically have done great things in the last few years. We both had accelerated our journey. So we have a lot to offer. Now the question for us is how do we bring those things together so that we create a compelling experience for our guests?
And you know, in your prior role too, you've been very familiar with Oracle solutions, particularly a longtime customer and partner in food and beverage systems at Cedar Fair. So now with the merger, I imagine that ecosystem has gotten much bigger with back office systems like finance, HR, customer-facing applications. Can you talk about what extended that footprint, and in particular the partnership that we've had for you and how it impacts your strategic direction?
Yeah, we really value our partnership with Oracle. Not only with the product suite that you provide, we also really like engaging with the Oracle people. All of you folks, really good customer reps we engage with. Like you mentioned, we've got a selection of portfolio products that we leverage Oracle. ERP, back of house, especially in our finance area. We've got resorts, so we use Opera as our property management system. In our parks, point of sale, Symphony deployed widely. As we are in this transition merger phase, we're also looking at other capabilities that we may not have had major investments in, whether they are in the HCM space, the inventory management, retail planning, all of that we haven't perhaps invested at the right level. Now this presents us an opportunity that we should probably look more into those areas.
That's great. You know, and we've talked to quite a bit about delighting customers, and obviously for you, it's not just it's a core mission. It's part of your core DNA because people are coming to your organization every day expecting to have fun. I mean, your stock ticker is fun, FUN. So how are all the initiatives and the tech that you just spoke of? How is that aligning to really help create lasting memories for your customers?
Yeah, our purpose is to make people happy. So that's the premise we start from. The goal really is to create immersive experiences for our guests and their families that they enjoy so that they can create lifelong memories. Now, I would say a key component of this is our team members. We obviously focus a lot on our team members, train them, we provide the right tools, we invest in the technologies that they use. We try to make sure that the experience our guests have are as frictionless as possible so that they really can enjoy their time in our parks.
And how about looking ahead a bit? I mean, I know we had a couple exploratory discussions, but where do you see the role of AI? Anything happening in other industries, anything happening internally that you think might further impact that guest experience based upon AI?
Yeah, AI is really permeating all our lives, and we've spent quite a bit of time last couple of days here learning a lot about AI, how our partners, especially Oracle, is leveraging AI in their tools. We are doing things that leverage AI, the guest engagement online, things like chatbots, the smart monitoring of our operations. That phrase I've heard several times during the last couple of days, smart monitoring. We look at not only the theme park industry, but we look at the entire ecosystem. Everybody, every company is looking for ways to leverage AI better. We obviously are consumers of technology, so we are looking at how we can leverage the tools that you provide to enhance our guest experience, really drive our business forward.
Well, that's really terrific, and thank you so much for sharing all of that. It's just really amazing how much work goes in behind the scenes to making sure that people who show up to have fun are actually having fun. And it's been a great partnership with you at your previous organization, now as part of Six Flags, and we look forward to many more years to come of partnership. Thank you so much, Ty.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Okay, so as you can see, three companies from very different industries creating experiences for their customers. But as I was listening, as I said, I think there's applicability for all industries in terms of outcomes. So we've touched on now AI as part of the ecosystem discussion, but let's dive a little bit deeper now on the AI topic. Our industry applications and industries in general are at the forefront of applied AI because they're at the edge. They're touching your customers. And the transformation that AI promises is going to be the most apparent and most impactful, I think, for your business as you continue to invest and leverage AI for better industry outcomes. So by now, we've all heard quite a bit about large language models, and they are terrific. I mean, it's just a massive breakthrough, and the innovation that we've been able to develop on top of these large language models has been really game-changing, and the pace at which we've been able to do it is also game-changing. These generalized models offer very broad insights, and that's terrific and allows for automation of routine tasks. But I think further innovation and enhanced customer interactions really require fine-tuning these models. And fine-tuning these models is the key to unlocking immense business value and immense applicability for a refined customer experience. The same thing happens in our business applications, where context is the key, and it's industry context that helps you deliver that specific value. So across all of our industry suites, we are focused on helping you fine-tune these models as a service, not fine-tuning these models by yourself, or in some cases, as Naveen mentions, creating your own small language models, which I think have tremendous applicability in so many vertical industries. Again, for the simple reasons that data is not publicly available, and you probably don't want to ever make it publicly available, and certain regulations probably would prevent you from doing that anyway. So where are we going to get all of this context? Well, very simply, it's from you. It's from your data. It's really hard to have a robust AI strategy without also having a good data strategy. So for AI to really drive business transformation, and we know it's possible. We've seen in early days it's possible. The models need to be set up for success with a business data aggregation layer to contextualize these models in real time. And the real time of this, the real time piece of this, and the fact where the Oracle vector database is so important is that your data is going to change. It's not static. You want to continue inferencing, you want to continue to train these models, you want to continue to extend these models. Again, very difficult to do that without some real supercomputer power behind the scenes, even for small language models. Keep in mind that small language models are only small in comparison to large language models, but they're not so small when you're talking about petabytes of data. So your data really then becomes the icing on the cake. We want to give you a springboard to launch the best contextualized AI models by leveraging your data. So we're doing quite a bit of innovation around AI innovations, contextualized AI at the edge. And I thought it would be great to hear from some of our product experts and product leaders across a few, we won't be able to get to everyone, but a few of our vertical industries here today. And to facilitate that conversation, my colleague Stephanie Trunzo will sit down with these leaders and we'll go through a couple quick demos and some things that we're doing with Contextualized AI across vertical industries. So with that, please welcome Stephanie Trunzo.
All right, well, thank you, Mike. So, in that opening video that we saw, it really made me want to go take a vacation in San Francisco. So let's take a look at it again. Can we bring that video back up, please? So there are obvious industry touch points in this vacation video, but there are some that are not so obvious. As Mike said, no experience, your customers' experiences, happen in the vacuum of a single industry. So let's rewind and widen the aperture to look at some of the supporting industry touch points that might not have been so obvious the first time that we watched. Oracle was also helping make it fast and easy to make payments. Oracle was helping keep construction projects on time and on budget and safe. And Oracle was powering real-time communications for business around the world. So let's see some of this in action, as Mike said, and how we're supporting this connected industry ecosystem that we've been talking about with innovation, applied AI. And I'd like to invite some of my colleagues to the stage to share some of these innovations that we're fueling across even more industries. So let's please welcome Andrew, Amber, and Josh. All right, welcome everybody. So, Mike shared earlier how Oracle's portfolio really touches every aspect of the consumer experience. But the audience here probably doesn't know a lot about Oracle's payment strategy. So, Amber, can you kick us off and just give us a little background about what we're doing in this space?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Stephanie, and hi, everybody. So certainly, I think everyone in this room can probably relate to my use cases because we're all consumers. Yeah. We're all transacting probably multiple times a day. And we probably all have a similar experience in that there's been a moment or many moments where the brand probably had an opportunity to surprise and delight you and they missed it. Right? And I think, one of the big challenges is you have a very finite window to capture that moment, to take that next action, to capture that information, or to just delight them with the right offer at the right time. Commerce is inherently inefficient. Even though we've made massive advances, it's just getting more complex as additional options for payment surface and consumer expectations just continue to grow. And so what seems like something that should be very straightforward and efficient becomes a complex series of decisions and investments. So Oracle saw a really great opportunity in partnership with the broader payments ecosystem, which many of you participate in, to streamline transaction processing and add a lot of value to the path to purchase.
So, commerce never sleeps, as you said, right? We're all constantly transacting, and it touches every industry. Embedded payments is just a natural extension of Oracle's transaction platforms, and it offers true material advantages for our customers. One, embedded data science and AI within industry workflows inform and automate curated experiences. Two, security, scale, and compute power are required to run the most demanding workloads in the cloud and on the edge, like Mike has mentioned. And Andrew's going to talk about this with us next as well.
Yeah, I would just kind of layer in, I think one of the other key advantages, particularly for Oracle customers, is our ability to take you from transaction all the way back to ERP. And then just our continuous focus on improving that customer experience. Because the reality is that last experience is the definition of what that next best experience needs to be.
Absolutely. So let's unpack that for the audience a little bit. The video that we played earlier ties this together around a family vacation. Throughout that journey, there are several points of engagement, and we saw some of them, and purchase. But the reality is about half of all purchases are, at a typical brand anyhow, are anonymous or are not tied to a loyalty ID.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, even if you have a loyal customer at your establishment, a lot of times they don't self-identify. And so all of those transactions are creating an enormous data set, as you know, Universal and Marriott and everybody just kind of emphasized. And all that data tends to be managed independently. And so there are a ton of blind spots. The real advantage I think we see, certainly for our customers, is a foundation from which we are building our embedded payments solution. 25,000 transactions in a restaurant, at a single restaurant at peak trade. Almost 5 million hotel rooms under management, and 100 billion retail transactions. So take that all, with embedded payments at every touch point, we can tie all those breadcrumbs together for you and attribute them back to a single consumer. And I think what's even more interesting is that single consumer is multidimensional. So I understand, for example, Kurt and how Kurt behaves when he travels on business versus how Kurt behaves when he travels on leisure. And so that really gives you a pretty powerful advantage.
That is your advantage, absolutely. So that's with a full Oracle stack, right?
That's it, yeah. So full Oracle stack, we know, for example, and can give you the context of the room rate, the package, the offers, the on-property redemptions, the restaurants, the retail outlets, all of that. And then with AI and generative AI, we can put tools to work like Oracle Digital Assistant to make that next best offer at the right price, at the right time, based on his personal attributes, as well as cohorts and lookalikes. I think what's even more interesting, and how Mike has really kind of spoke to today, this extends well beyond hospitality, right? I mean, you're thinking about every service industry, healthcare, energy and water. Every time a customer has a great experience, that bar is continuously raised. Our aim is to make setting that bar easier for all of you. And I think the only other thing I just wanted to make mention, certainly around embedded payments, we have some other really interesting projects in flight. One of those being kind of the automation of the voice AI within a drive-through. Now couple that with some of the things we heard yesterday around biometrics, and you are flying through that drive-through, grabbing those chicken nuggets, no friction whatsoever. So it's super exciting stuff.
It's a really cool way to think about the future, right? So thanks for opening the door on some of these exciting use cases, leveraging payments, insights as we're interacting with consumers and all of y'all, right? Let's kind of turn to construction now, and let's talk a little bit about what we're doing in construction around some really high impact applied AI use cases. And I've been learning some of this from you just in our conversations. It's really impressive. We talk about safety and we talk about saving lives in healthcare, but it's pretty cool what we're doing in construction too. So I'd love to hear a little more.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Stephanie, and appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk about what we're doing in this industry. The first concept I'd like to get across is really aligned with what Mike's theme was from the presentation today, and it's commonalities across industries. Because all industries build. It's a huge space. Just to give some examples from here at CloudWorld of Oracle construction and engineering customers who've come all the way here, and by the way, thank you all for coming here, to present on what they're doing in the construction and capital project space. It's a litany of different industries. We have healthcare, Northwell Health, managing, maintaining, operating, building 900 hospitals and medical care facilities across New York State. We have Severn Trent Water, coming from the UK. They win our award for the customer that came the longest distance. They're managing a 12 billion Great British Pound GBP capital program over the next 5 years. I've been corrected to not say dollars when I say that. And then last but not least, we have traditional builders like Mortensen Construction, who came out here from Minneapolis. They're a traditional builder known as one of the best in the country. Close to home, they actually built the Allegiant Stadium here in Las Vegas. So those are a few examples of how all industries build. Although I think we might have another one too. I can't really remember it.
I think we're drinking our own champagne too, aren't we, on this? I mean, I think this is not, as you said, everyone builds. So what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, it was really exciting yesterday to talk about this fourth industry, the data center industry, because Oracle's own OCI data center team talked about how they're using Oracle construction and engineering software, in our terminology, drinking our own champagne, to help with the Oracle Data Center Construction and Capital Project Program, which, as you know, is a big part of our capital investments going forward as a company. So all industries build. It's a huge market. It's a $13 trillion global industry. But if you asked any of the panelists that presented, and you asked industry as a whole, we would all agree that we can do a lot better in terms of safety, schedule, cost, and quality. Let's just take safety. It actually shocks me when I say this statement. You can look it up, Department of Labor statistics. In the United States, 5 workers die every day on a job site in America. It's really shocking. In Severin Trent's presentation yesterday, they disclosed that in the UK, sadly, it's about the same. And that rate of fatalities has stayed more or less constant for about the last 10 years. Something's got to change.
Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about what we should change?
Thanks for asking.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so the concept of shifting the curve, in particular in the area of safety, is a really important one in the industry. And as it turns out, over the last decade, construction has become increasingly digitized. What's showing on screen now is actually the relaunch of a product called Numetrics, which is a predictive analytics for safety product that Oracle acquired in 2022. And I'm proud to announce is now available through OCI, completely built from the ground up, using Oracle Autonomous Database, using OCI Data Science Services for predictive analytics for things like this, identifying the priorities and actions for those projects that are at highest risk for a safety incident every week. One of the ways that we look for those risks is we use computer vision. As you're seeing here, we can detect, for example, if risky activities like work at height is going on by identifying things like ladders. We also use Oracle Integration Cloud to pull in data, not just photos, but structured data, like manpower data, safety incident data, even things like the weather. All of that provides a context for predictive AI to help our customers not just react, but be proactive. It's computer vision AI feeding predictive AI. You can think of it as multimodal AI, all with the goal of improving safety in our industry.
I love that because, as you said, it is sort of shocking to hear those statistics. It's great that we're doing something that can really be so proactive in helping with that. So now that we have this, are we really seeing, kind of the outcomes that we were hoping in terms of shifting that curve?
Yes, we are. I'm proud to say all the examples that I'm about to cite are available on the Oracle.com website in the form of webinars with our customers. One of our customers, Bolt Construction, out of the Midwest, in the first year of use, they cut their incident rate by 10%. And because the severity of the incidents also decreased, their workers' compensation insurance costs decreased by 75%. This was actually profiled in an analyst report by Dodge Data and Analytics. Another customer, Suffolk Construction, nationally respected contractor, in the first year of use, they cut their TRIR, which is total recordable incident rate, by 57%. And they estimated that the number of incidents that we were predicting equated to about $1.4 to $3.6 million of saved costs and avoided delays. But we're just getting started. The mission of this new product, which we call the Construction Intelligence Cloud Advisor product line, the first module is safety, but we're not done. Next up are those other areas of risk: schedule risk, quality risk, cost risk, and more. We see multimodal predictive AI as a way of helping industries like construction and others attack all of these challenges. Like I said at the beginning, all industries build. We see this as a way that it can help all of us.
I think what's really cool about what you're saying is that yes, industries are an ecosystem, so this is connected to almost every other industry, but at the same time, the things that we're using in terms of the technology, the use cases, they also apply across all of the industries, right? So this is really amazing, and I can think about all of those possibilities that we can then bring into these other industry stories as well, right? So much of what Amber and Josh have shared has been linked to access to data, real time, a variety of sources. And now I kind of want to change over to talk to Andrew about sort of what's the underlying, fabric, if you will, of connecting all of these things and how communications is playing a part in that.
So it's great to be part of this discussion and along with my colleagues here. The one thing I would want to start with, I think, on this, Stephanie, is to remember that sometimes it's really easy to forget the things that are most pervasive in front of you. So if you kind of close your eyes for a minute and imagine a world without access to social media, a world where you can't do mobile banking, a world where there's no mobile ticketing, a world where you can't even get to Google. And this is what communications is about, okay? It connects people to the internet, it connects businesses to the cloud, it connects businesses to businesses. It is the artery of the technology world that we live in. And if you just look at the examples that Amber and Josh were sharing, it was communications network that allowed that payment to go through. It was communications networks that allowed the information to be recovered from the construction site into the solution that's saving lives. So, it's kind of everywhere, and it's really powering everything that we're building.
Yeah, so it's essential to digital industrial world, a little bit like the cloud, a little bit like electricity, right? So what's Oracle's focus in kind of thinking through the strategy and the future of how we're going to bring communications into this story here?
Yeah, other than actually the fact that we help network providers build their networks through the products that we make, we have a vision and we have an ambition, and this is to move ourselves from an offline world to an online world. We want to be able to connect everything in the industrial world to the cloud, and we want to do that in real time. And really the benefit of that is data. It's around bringing data back into the applications and into the cloud. And we heard from Mike earlier around the role that data plays in tuning those AI models. And if we do it in real time, it allows us to make decisions in real time as well. So it's really important for us to be able to do that. Now, from a perspective of how we're making that happen inside of Oracle, we have actually built our own platform, which enables our industries to really easily consume the ecosystem of communications and connected devices.
So not many people, I think, realize Oracle has a platform like ECP, and we're so committed to transforming the industrial ecosystem. What are some other examples of how Oracle is using this to transform industries?
Yeah, we're working with so many different industries at the moment to create this new generation of connected applications. So really excited to be working with our construction and engineering team, our energy and water team, our healthcare team. But probably the one I would call out, because I think it just is so impactful, is the solution that we worked on with our public safety team. And if you haven't seen it, by the way, go down to the Industries Hub, go find the Cybertruck.
Please do, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, have a look at what they've built, because for the first time ever, we're in a position where first responders are carrying real-time camera equipment that can be streamed back to a dispatch center to give them situational awareness. For the first time ever, we have those same devices on vehicles, again providing those data feeds. And for the first time ever, we have the ability for our cloud applications to help manage those first responder situations. This is stuff that is saving lives, and it is changing society. And I think that is super exciting.
So one last question, and we're going to do this in a quick speed round here, okay? We've been talking about how industries are all connected in an ecosystem. Could you each give just one quick example on how you're being influenced by another industry's breakthroughs? And let's just head down the line here, and we'll start with you.
All right, so I'm going to twist the question. I'm sorry,
okay.
Stephanie, and I'm going to be very selfish. I draw my inspiration from the communications industry. And if you look at the way that we have changed the consumer world, right, we have 6.5 billion connected people on the planet. We have 16 billion connected devices already. Everything that we see in society today has changed. And I truly believe that we can make the same change for industry.
Very cool. Amber?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one that really resonates with me is the energy and water example, where they applied behavioral science to influence energy consumption. So instead of just showing you what you're consuming with no context, they started to expose how that compares to your neighbors or your cohorts. And I could see that being applied very well in a sustainability type moment. Certainly if I knew no one else was having their towels washed, I guess I would probably reuse mine. So.
Yeah, I share that one too. I was surprised coming to Oracle to learn that Oracle is powering that piece of paper I get every month that tells me how I'm doing versus my neighbors. My choice would be, though, another Oracle product, the Fusion ERP side, and what they've been doing, in particular on the HR side of things, using generative AI to allow managers to combine multiple employee feedbacks into one consolidated feedback, and then give some prompts and the ability to actually do much more structured, time-efficient, and value-added kind of feedback on top of that. They've been doing amazing stuff, and it's a great example, I think, also of the Oracle embedded AI theme, where that's Gen AI that's just in Fusion that you get, which is a really important theme that we're going to be seeing more and more of.
Yeah, that's an awesome, 3 great examples. Well, thank you all so much for joining, and I'm going to hand it back over to Mike.
Thank you.
So let's talk about bringing it all together with industry suites. While it's something that we've been at the forefront of for many years at Oracle, what's interesting is that the concept of industry suites, sometimes called industry clouds, is really increasing in popularity. We're hearing it from experts, we're hearing it from analysts and thought leaders, and we see suites as a key to being a driver to unlock innovation, transformation, and business value. And it may seem a little funny for me to say this at a tech conference, but industry suites aren't just technology platforms. They're also business transformation platforms. And we believe that industry suites should power business objectives, business users, and your customers. And while others, talk about industry clouds is usually vernacular they use, we talk about industry suites. What you see a lot of is kind of, just maybe some washing or some specific industry vernacular on top of enabling technology. We're taking a very different approach. We're talking about real, assembled, complete industry solutions. We're not leaving it to you to stitch it all together. Build on top of OCI security, build on top of AI-ready data models with productized integrations and industry reference architectures. Our industry suites are composable and configurable, but on purpose not customizable. We don't want you to maintain and run custom code in mission-critical application. It's the enemy of innovation. It's hard to keep pace. It's hard to keep pace with the value as a service if you have custom code. Secure, compliant, built on top of OCI security. That OCI security is not just security in the name of generalized security, but we also have industry-specific security certifications inside OCI for particularly sensitive industries like banking, utilities, and healthcare. Open and interoperable. I would encourage you to take a look if you'd like to extend these applications, the vertical applications, the horizontal applications. Oracle Apex, our low-code, no-code application generation service that we use internally to generate lots of new applications, is a fantastic tool to do that on top of the autonomous database into OCI. And finally, Prime for Innovation as a service. Staying current with us and regulations at large. That's the service that we want to provide. So, as I mentioned earlier, we've done a lot of thinking for many, many years in certain verticals, and even in more recent years, some new thinking with new verticals that we've taken on. We've listened to your feedback, and your feedback has been tremendous and has helped inform us. So as we deliver these solutions across industries, we want to bring all of those learnings to you. So today, I'm very happy to announce the general availability of the Oracle Industry Playbooks, complete for 22 industries. We've worked across all the Oracle teams, the Fusion applications teams, the OCI team, the analytics team, our vertical teams, to develop a cohesive narrative that addresses all the industries that we support. This narrative identifies the key imperatives and the outlines the problems and the Oracle AI, cutting-edge AI capabilities by industry. So let's take a look quickly inside the industry playbook. You'll find insights on the industry landscape, overviews of industry suites, specifics on how we're leveraging applied AI and AI models, and details on integration with Fusion applications to automate end-to-end business processes. We'll also share our perspective on Common Data Fabric with a data model aligned to the industry standard and pre-built analytics capabilities. And finally, you'll find best practices for leveraging the key capabilities of OCI, the highest level of compliance of each industry. If you want to get the cameras out, you're free to take this QR code, and this will take you directly to all 22 of those industry playbooks. If you're online, that's great. If you're here in person, we have all 22 industry playbooks available in the demo center as well. So please go see them. We'd love to show them to you as we go forward. Okay, I hope you can see why these three things are really exciting to all of us around industries. We talked about industries being a connected ecosystem and the co-innovation and collaboration that helps industry leaders share and leverage practices within and across industries. We looked at how industry context drives business innovation. We heard from our product leaders about AI context and edge development. Industries are at the forefront and will be at the forefront of AI as we continue to bake in these AI services into our broad portfolio of industry applications. They're at the edge. It's the perfect place to leverage AI for customer transformation experiences. And we just talked about industry suites and how they drive business value. It's really, when you think about industry suites, you have to solve the whole problem. Solving a piece of the problem isn't enough. And having you stitch together things on your own is very old school, very 90s. And we don't want to be in the 90s in the age of the cloud and generative AI. So our suites are focused on delivering end-to-end automation tailored to meet the needs of your industries and your customers. And as a result, with OCI as the underlying platform, we can imagine a new generation of cloud solutions that make the art of the possible real. So let's take a look at what's possible as a result of all this innovation.
Imagine what you could do with an all-knowing, integrated system of intelligence, fueled by your data, guiding and supporting you every day. Suzanne is the CEO of a real estate company with properties around the world, and she has that intelligent system, powered by Oracle AI. Suzanne's decision-making is enriched with data from her Fusion suite, industry tools, and even public sources like review sites. Oracle AI makes sense of these trillions of data points, delivering unparalleled insights. Each morning, Oracle AI generates a daily service excellence report for Suzanne's resort teams and creates personalized engagement plans for every single guest. For example, Addie is arriving at the resort today. Addie's guest profile is instantly created from data insights across sources. It shows Addie is a returning guest who raved about the Cabana Lounge restaurant in a public review, that she reserved an electric vehicle from a resort partner for her stay, and also that she's motivated most by discounts and promotions. Using these insights, Suzanne's intelligent system leverages Oracle Digital Assistant to automate proactive outreach to Addie. Meanwhile, at the beach resort, the team is getting ready for a busy day. They're ahead of schedule because the same integrated system generates detailed staffing and inventory plans each week based on insights from guest profiles, inventory, staff skills, and more. With so many children arriving, the resort has already optimized restaurant and pool staffing, booked the perfect entertainment, and even restocked baby items. Later, the development team at a new resort building site receives an alert. Based on the latest analysis of project data, the system is recommending a new plan that would complete the final phase of the project 30% faster. The head of development accepts the revised plan, and automated updates immediately kick in, managing the supply chain, hiring sufficient staff, and notifying the sales team of the new grand opening date. In just one day, this Oracle system of intelligence, driven by synthesized data, worked seamlessly across applications to enable Suzanne and her team to see information more clearly, to work more efficiently, and to do their jobs more successfully. That is the art of the possible.
Well, this kind of innovation is only possible with one key ingredient, and that's the collaboration with all of you. And we're incredibly grateful for your input and your partnership and sharing in our mission to advance full industry automation. So here's the QR code again, if you need it, for the industry playbooks. We also have industry walkthroughs, and it'll give you a guided journey suggestion for by industry, how you can walk through our innovation labs. I encourage you to scan this, and if you're online, again, there's a digital version. If you're watching this on the broadcast, there's a digital version of all this now available online. So we hope to see you on the demo floor. We hope to see you looking at all the edge. And as an added bonus, in the name of sustainability, for every QR code, we are going to plant a tree in your name. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of CloudWorld. We'll see you again soon.